.145 on a Saturday, and it is the DNVR Avs pod coming to you from the Toyota Lounge, brought to you by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. Glad to have you along and inside. It is a Saturday pod, and we are presented by Bet365, maybe my favorite company out there right now. Nick Gismondi, we got Rudo with me, Yaya working the dials, and Eric Lacroix will be checking in via video very shortly. Well, okay. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, good thing we delayed this pod to today, I guess, huh?
What the heck is going on? Obviously, if you haven't heard the news already yet today, a couple of interesting moves. We're going to get to all of them, and we'll talk about them in much more detail. But right off the top, two guys headed to waivers in the likes of Wagner and Tynan, and then an interesting pickup off of waivers, adding another defenseman from Pittsburgh just now.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but it's confusing to me. I don't understand what the Avs' plan is here, unless they know something I don't, which they probably do. But even then, this move is a little baffling to me.
Well, there's scenarios to it, right? I mean, I think I'm trying to figure these guys out still. And again, new guy, right? Gizmo's the new guy. And you learn sort of the methodology of teams, and you understand sort of why they sort of make moves. The Belmar thing surprised the heck out of me, but I get it. This one, I'm not sure what's going on defensively. I don't know what the play there is. It's, John Ludwig, 6 foot, 214-pound blue liner, 70 career AHL games for Wilkes-Barre Scranton. 2 Calder Cup playoff runs for the Checkers, which I remember him from there. I don't know what they're doing. 24 games.
I'm trying to find an angle with this, and his underlyings aren't great. His possession metrics were okay on a Pittsburgh team that wasn't very good.
Played in 33 games, excuse me.
33
games,
NHL games, which by less experience in the NHL than Sam Malinsky.
Correct.
So you're not really looking at a veteran experienced guy on that level.
Yeah.
He's another left shot D, which the Avs already have a billion of.
Right.
I could have seen a little bit more sense if he was a right shot and Bednar really wanted a right shot on that right side or something behind Sam Malinsky. Maybe, look, heavier guy. He's going to play a heavier game maybe than Brandstrom or Shillington or some of these other guys that they're running through their options on. But I guess I don't understand the math.
Well, I don't either, and I think that's my concern. Not concern. I mean, it doesn't concern me. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. I think the questions become, what is the purpose of this? And your options, and we'll get into this throughout the show and a lot deeper. How we're going to check in with Eric in a minute here, but I think it's either somebody's hurt, they're gearing up or loading up for some certain level of a trade, or they've just really have fallen out of love with one of the 8 that's currently in the position. I mean, I could have some ideas on who that might be. I don't think anybody.
It's definitely not Malinsky, I'll tell you that.
It's not Malinsky.
Shouldn't be DeHaan.
It shouldn't be DeHaan.
And I don't think Brandstrom was amazing this preseason. I thought he was fine. I think Shillington genuinely struggled, but that's also the guy that they invested the most financially in with the biggest contract. So, maybe there's definitely a world where they just decided.
Well, listen, I'll put the foil hat on. Okay, well, maybe they're in on the Swayman deal, and they're trying to clear money.
It's not impossible. My thing is, maybe there's a world where they're trading multiple defensemen, right? If you're trading a big contract, which would be one of Manson or Girard, and then another defenseman on top of that, maybe this starts to make a little bit more sense. Because even if you're trading one defenseman, look, I don't know John Ludwig. Maybe he's great, but looking at his underlying numbers, he seems more like a number 7 to me than a guy that you're actually wanting to start in your lineup every night. And I don't really understand what he brings that someone like a Callie Rosen or even like a Jacob McDonald could potentially bring as one of your depth D. The Avs D-line core already felt crowded. If there isn't someone getting waived or someone getting traded or something going on, I don't understand. And then the key part of this is because Ludwig was claimed off waivers, he has to stay on the NHL roster. This is not a guy that can go down to the AHL or you'll lose him.
Right. Good point. I'm glad you made that because that's accurate. So I don't know. I really don't know what.
It's a little bit confusing. Look, my assumption in part, we don't have to rehash the Curtis McDermott saga with the chat, but Jared Bednar has always liked a enforcer type of player.
Sure.
In his lineup. McDermott played more forward than D, really, but maybe he fills that role for you in some capacity.
Sure.
I still don't understand. If the Avs planned on getting a guy like this, why did they sign Brandstrom and Shillington this offseason and Callie Rosen and Jacob McDonald? They signed too many guys already, and now this just feels like an unnecessary move, unless it's part of something else that we just don't know yet.
AJ, that's a hot take, buddy.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That is not happening. But thank you. Hi, everybody. Quebec, the Toyota chat, alive and well. Windsor, it is a little bit Canadian. Oh, we got Montana in there. That balances out Windsor
Some
and
America,
Quebec,
yeah.
for sure. Windsor, spent a lot of time in Windsor. Called a lot of games against the Windsor Spitfires when they would play the Plymouth Whalers.
Yeah.
And I remember in their old building, they have a new building now, that old building, and they had a squirrel problem. I kid you not.
Really?
Like, you'd be calling games, and there'd be like these black squirrels
Running
that
up
would
and
just
down
be
the
cruising the
rafters or
rafters.
something?
And one day during the playoffs, poor little guy misstepped, found the ice. It was like an audible hush over the crowd. It was terrible.
That's crazy.
It's terrible. I'm the guy that like will hit 5 other cars in traffic to avoid a rabbit in the road. So when I saw this poor little guy misstep off the rafters and fall to the ice, it was a tough day. Tough day. Yeah, so we'll get to the bottom of this to a certain degree. I don't know if I'm going to be feverishly sort of checking.
Yeah,
My
definitely keep your eyes
sources
out.
here over the next day. I was in the car. I took my eyes off it for 2 minutes, and this is the situation we find ourselves in. But Eric Lacroix is checking in from the East Coast. Coincidence that Eric and I both were in Boston this week? I don't know. It's up to you. You tell me. Let's hear from me.
Hello, DNVR Avalanche. Hello, Rudo. Hello, Nick. Hope the fellas are doing well. Listen, obviously not with you guys today. I'm on a scouting mission for DNVR Avalanche. For more to come here this year, especially with Die Hard. So, you know what? Become a Die Hard. You get some different kind of content, but that's for later. As far as the Avalanche go, hey, listen, kind of a weird game today not being played at the Delta Center, right? They're playing it at Mavericks, so I'm not too sure. I'm sure Rudo's going to talk about it, how to find, or I don't know if you can even get anything, any highlight. I'm sure you'll get highlights, but anyway, any sort of ways to watch the game today should be pretty hard. Again, for me, it's going to be pretty hard. We all know I'm not tech savvy. As far as the game is, it's the last preseason game. Hooray! Hooray! Absolutely awesome. It's been a long few weeks for all the teams, not just the Avalanche. We all know the season has started, especially in Europe right now with the two teams playing yesterday and today. A couple things to look forward to. Like I said, I'm sure the fellas are going to talk about it, but rosters due Monday, so keep an eye out next couple days. Obviously, on the waiver wire, something that I'm sure the Avs will be looking at. I'm not saying that they'll be able to pick someone or even put a claim in for anybody, depending on what their internal views are on the guys. But as far as today's concerned, like we usually do a 3 keys thing. Listen, focus Focus for 60 minutes as a team. Again, we don't care about the outcome. Last game, they did it. They played better. They won. Great. Awesome. Preseason doesn't mean anything. Please stay healthy. Let's knock on wood. Let's knock on wood here. Stay healthy. Focus. Feel good about your game individually and collectively as a team. I think it's important before coming back home tonight post-game, and I'm sure having a day off tomorrow, and then a couple good practices before heading back out to Vegas for the real deal. Obviously, no more of this flying in the day of a game, and, regular season starts. It's all important. But like I said, the most important thing is Monday. Obviously, 23-man roster due for every team. Like I said, keep an eye out just to see if there's anything out there on the waiver wire. Guys have to go on waivers for 24 hours, so you'll see a lot of waiver transactions here today and tomorrow, so teams can adjust their 23-man roster before Monday, 5 o'clock there with the NHL deadline. As far as the Avalanche, like I said, tonight, Georgiev's going to go in there. I thought, Eustace did the job after a poor outing. I think he did exactly what I just talked about. He felt good about his game. He felt good about his movements. On top of it, got the win. It's always fun, even though it is an exhibition or preseason game. It just feels good to feel good about the game. I think it's about Georgiev's time tonight. Same thing. Didn't have a good outing today. The other day when he had a full 60-minute game against Vegas, it didn't go well. Was it Vegas? I don't remember. Anyway, he gave up 6. And tonight, it's a chance for him to feel good about his game, go for 60 minutes, and then be ready for, obviously, Wednesday. He's going to be the starter Wednesday. So that's what's going on in the net. As far as the back end goes, listen, the 8Ds have been all good, so to speak. None of them are going on waivers. None of them are getting traded. I think it's important for the Avalanche to start 8 deep and the call-ups in Loveland down the street. I think they're as strong as they've been in a long time on the back end with some nice depth. Tonight, just keep going. Same thing. Feel good. New guys are in. They're not in. I don't know. I'm not too sure about the roster right now, but feel good about your reads. Quick outs, Avalanche hockey, jump in the play. And as far as the forward positions go, listen, we all know that there's a little bit of a Rudo or me, I always say ham sandwich in the lineup somewhere up front right now. Like, it's a little bit everywhere, especially on the middle stat side of things. We will see what he does with his first line. Does he keep them intact? Does he not? In case he needs help, we'll see who's going to emerge as the guys. You know what I mean? He basically needs 2 guys when you think about it, for Monday and obviously for the roster deadline, but also for Wednesday for the lineup for the first game on the road against Nemesis Vegas Golden Knights. So again, 4th line center, is it Parker Kelly, Ivan? What's going on with those guys? I'm sure they'll be given one last opportunity to show what they got. Be a junkyard dog. We talked about it last watch along. Again, no watch along tonight, but be ready for those watch alongs starting next week. We are excited for it. Gizmo's new to him. He was pumped about him. Always come see us at the bar, at the DNVR bar there on Colfax. Chef Rob will make you some great food. If you have some friends, come see us. We love having people there for games. Keep an eye out for the watch-alongs as well. We should lock in some guys, former guys, to come with us on those watch-alongs here, former alumni. But as far as, like I said, preseason, I think it's been a great preseason. What I mean by that has been a great few weeks. Coach Bednar and the staff, I think, had a great plan. They laid it out. They work hard. As you know, those practices, they're very hard physically, but also hard mentally, especially for the new guys, because they want to make sure the systems are ingrained in their brains and to be ready, because it counts Wednesday. So all in all, a great training camp for the Avalanche. I'm looking forward to it. I am pumped. I'm excited. Like I said today, I'm not too excited about that last preseason game. Again, besides what I just talked about, which is let's stay healthy, let's get going, and let's be ready, obviously, to rock and roll Monday, Tuesday at practice before a wonderful season opener in Vegas. So, guys, I miss you guys. I might write a song. I might write a song to you guys right now about what I feel about you guys, and I'm just so sad that I'm not there today with you guys. I'm just kidding. Hey, have a great day. Have a great show. Those are my thoughts. I will see you, obviously, Monday morning at practice, because tomorrow most likely will be a day off. Check it out.
Gotta love Big E, huh?
Always emotionally invested.
Always emotionally invested. Big E is getting in on our UC Health Challenge, and we are so excited to be partnered with UC Health and of course Coach Prime, because he's helping Colorado get back to its rightful place as the healthiest state out there, and that involves a whole bunch of different things, including mental health and also, physical health, and that's what he's working on. He's got a little challenge going right now, and we're gonna support him on it, and he's doing a great job. He is going to try to lose a pound for every single point that the Colorado Avalanche have this year in the standings. So a big one from our boy Big E. We'll see if he can keep it up, but make sure you're doing the right things for you. For E, he wants to lose a little bit of weight. For me, I try to get off social media at the end of the night and not be on my phone so much and have that away time and have that mental health moment to yourself, so that you're not always comparing yourselves to all of the cool, good things that you see on social media, because not many people post the bad. If you follow me on Instagram and, mostly on Twitter, I'm giving you updates and info on the Avs, but my Instagram, I try to be super positive. I try to hit you with inspirational quotes, and that helps me. They're kind of my reminders to stay mentally focused, mentally positive, and that's what Coach Prime wants to do. He wants to help you in all of these different ways with that Ready, Set, Go challenge. Make sure you do it the way that you want to do it, but whatever you think can make you happy and healthy, go for it. And if you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Go challenge, click on the link in the show notes or go to uchealth.org/Ready, Set, Go.
My Instagram's all dog pictures. So
I love that, though. I love dog pictures. I just found out we can bring dogs here, so I got a special buddy that's gonna come make some appearances on the show. He's gonna be our show dog.
P.S. If you have a dog, Toyota might be the car for you.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys know this. We recently got a new puppy. She would get car sick.
Aww.
In the seats. We put her in the back of my parents' Toyota, like in the back area of the SUV. Totally fine.
Huh.
So Toyotas cure car sickness in dogs. Confirmed.
Confirmed. It's science, people. It's science.
But seriously, if you are looking for a new car, make sure you go check out Toyota. They have 17 different all-wheel drive vehicles and get you wherever you need to go, wherever you might be, whether it's here in Colorado and Denver or anywhere that you might be living. Go check them out with 16 different hybrid vehicles, too. That's the most of anyone in that class. They've got vehicles for everyone. They got the Tundra iForce Max if you're looking for a hybrid truck, or the OG Tundra if you want a normal truck. They've got your 4Runner if you're looking for the SUV type, or the RAV4. They've got the Corolla. They've got the Prius. The list goes on. You can get tons of different Toyota vehicles. They've got the vehicle that's right for you. I guarantee it, because they're the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and the official vehicle of DNVR. Go get yourself in one at your Front Range Toyota stores, including locations at AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche.
Good job, buddy.
It's okay. It was okay.
Proud of you. Before we get back into talking about sort of what went down with the waiver wire and obviously the new addition, let's kind of play off of Eric a little bit and talk about this game tonight in Utah. Guys had a chance to kind of hang out a little bit. Off day yesterday, game tonight against Utah before heading back. I don't know. I'm not sure what anything else needs to be expected out of tonight. Obviously, if they're not communicating, the defense is probably a little bit worried. There's some nervous Nellies on the blue line wondering what is going on with this addition, and I'm sure there's some talk amongst them and looking around the locker room nervously. So,
yeah, an hour ago I would have said this is kind of just a warm-up game for the regular season lineup. Yeah. Now, if you're a defenseman,
it's an audition again.
You better put everything out on the table if you're in the lineup tonight.
Addition.
Yeah, the reality is they just added one more guy that may be ahead or behind you on the depth chart. You don't really know. So you got to go out there and show it again, whoever it might end up being. Of course, nobody's going to be able to watch it, but the Avs will be watching it. So,
yeah, and you can catch it on radio obviously tonight. But I think this turned into a different feel now. If you're up front, okay, You just need to make sure that the last little fine tuning. This is more about you at this moment, right? Yep. What are the last little things, like if I'm playing in that lineup tonight, what are the last little things that I need to do just to make sure, like, okay, I'm feeling good, I'm confident going into opening night. I don't think anybody is necessarily vying for too many more jobs up front. I think we have a pretty solid idea of what that looks like.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more, I'm sure, in a second here when we start talking about the waivers. But for the most part, I agree. But I do think, look, the way the Avs have set this up, if they are putting themselves in a situation where their 3 scratches are all defensemen, we may be staring down the barrel of an 11-7 lineup to start the year. And that means, guess what? One of those forwards is going to be scratched instead. So those bottom 6 forwards probably would like to show well tonight too.
Sure. And I mean, I think that's a thing for sure. Obviously, now you're wondering who that fourth-line center is going to be with the Belmar news. Yep. So we'll get some looks at that tonight. You know, don't know what the lineup looks like yet. Haven't seen it. We'll get that out to you as soon as we have it. But, yeah, interesting. And in terms of the net, you heard E touch on it. Georgiev needs to play solid tonight. He needs to show that he needs to treat this like it's game 1 of the regular season, in my opinion.
Agreed.
He really needs to be sharp tonight. You know, if you guys are diehards, you've already clicked on our multiple versions for you here, right? We've got video previews of each position for the Avs that we did. That's out there and available for you to check out. Hopefully you're looking at it, loving it. And we did previews of each division for sure, too, so you have that video-wise. But if you're a diehard, we went in super in-depth. And AJ put in some incredible work on this article to preview the Colorado Avalanche in exquisite detail. We sort of weighed in also in terms of where we thought maybe shortcomings would be in preventing this team from winning the Cup. And we all sort of agreed that, you know, without giving you all the details, without, you know, you can catch the article, but, you know, goaltending is going to need to be a thing.
It's on the list for sure.
It's got to be good.
Yep.
And you know, Eustace played really good the other night, I thought. 1 goal on 22 shots. Wasn't tested very hard in the first period. That's hard for a goalie to get into the rhythm. He did great. And then for me, you know, Gorgie really needs to show up tonight and put a stamp on it.
I've said this on shows before, but the first 20 games of the season are critically important for Alexander Georgiev to prove that he should be the starter. Yeah. He has the inside track. On day 1, game 1, he's the starter. But every step that he falters along the way, more questions get asked. So just don't falter in the first place. Lock it in. Be done with it.
I agree. In the Toyota chat, Wayne... Yeah, no, we might have to change him from Big E to Little E if he loses 115 pounds. He can do it, and I like your optimism on the season for the Avs. I kind of tend to agree with you. Well, tonight's game will be tonight's game. I mean, we'll keep track of it best as can, and you know, we'll be updating you as is, but. I don't know. I guess I'm going to listen to it on the radio. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll be tuning into McGahee for that. Or
Connor does a good job.
He does. Yeah. Look. Preseason games like this are weird. I just got done telling you about how there are some guys that are going to need to treat this as a performance and show up full bore. But then you also have guys like McKinnon, Ranton, and Druin where it's, no, this is not game 1 of the regular season for them. This game, the mission is don't get hurt.
I don't even know if they'll play tonight.
I don't know who else do they have with all the guys they waived at this point. Unless they're going to play 90 in this preseason game, too. I mean...
Well, he won't make it there, obviously. Yeah, he's heading to Denver.
Ludwig won't be there.
Ludwig is on his way to Denver, for sure. It could be... Actually, now I wish this game was televised.
Could be a weird one for Colorado, for sure.
But let's get into the waivers a little bit more. We'll talk about that for a second. Tynan put on waivers for purposes of Eagles assignment. Wagner, same deal. So far.
Yeah. Both of them. Tynan is not a surprise to me at all. I think his role was always to be a high-end scorer in the AHL for this organization.
Yeah.
Nothing against the guy. His role and his size just don't really function in a bottom 6 role in the NHL, so It is what it is. Wagner, 2 weeks ago, I said I was confident he would be the guy that probably ends up getting passed through waivers and sent down there, but Obviously, things have changed a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and mostly this is full credit to Ivan for, I don't know if I'm going to say he's made the team 100% because you don't know if the Avs might have a couple more things in store over the next few days, but tons of credit to Ivan for outplaying a bunch of guys and still being here at very least for today. The other side of this is Parker Kelly, I think pretty clearly outplayed someone like a Chris Wagner, earned his role as well. Personally, I don't really feel the same. I don't think Yoel Kiviranta played all that well in preseason, but he has that role established from last year with this organization. So he was probably locked up into that spot regardless. The waiver wire stuff is whatever. Wagner, I'm not expecting to get claimed, and he's likely the first on the list for call-ups for the Avs, which is fine. He can play center. He can play wing if you need him to. He's a good versatile depth option, and probably where he should be to start the season in Loveland. This is where I get confused. Is Ivan going to play on opening night? Tonight, he'll play. Whatever. It's preseason. Is Ivan going to get into the lineup? Because it really looks like today that the Avs are going to run 9D, 12 forwards, and 2 goalies for their 23-man roster. So that is no extra forwards, and with that 9D spot, why are you running 9D if you're not going to play 7? I guess that would be my question. And maybe I wake up tomorrow and someone's waived or whatever. But with the information we have right now, I'm afraid that Ivan's not going to get in.
I mean, I tend to agree with you. And I don't know if that was where my thinking was earlier. I mean, like I said, everything that just sort of kind of happened threw a smidge of a loop in, or threw me for a bit of a loop. I didn't really anticipate. Maybe I thought they would jump on the waiver wire a little bit. I honestly didn't see them.
But I would have, had they got a forward, I'd have been totally ready for that.
Correct.
Totally expected it.
That's exactly what I was saying. I expected it to be a forward. I did not expect an additional defenseman based on everything that has already been said.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little bit of a, okay, what game are you playing now? What is your internal thinking? Obviously, we weren't able to talk to Coach the last day or so you don't really have a sense of it. So anything we're doing right now is pure speculation.
Oh, yeah. We're in the dark as much as anyone is. And I don't have sources here, but I suspect there are more than 1 or 2 people in the Avalanche organization that just went, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I got a feeling that when that news just hit, there's guys that are getting ready to jump on a bus here that are like,
Yep. The math changed, buddy.
So, Coach, what's what?
Yep. What's happening here?
Thoughts on Wagner?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. Look, if you're looking for more skill and upside, it makes sense why he's not the guy. I think the Avs feel like they could probably get a little bit more out of someone like a Parker Kelly in their lineup on a nightly basis. I don't think Wagner hurts you a whole lot as long as he can not take penalties. He had a couple of penalty issues last year, which maybe put him a little bit deeper on the list this year, unfortunately for him. But he's a guy who's been doing this for his whole career. He knows how to go up and down. He knows how to be a healthy scratch. He knows how to be ready at a moment's notice to jump into a lineup. He'll play games for the Avs this year. I'd bet my life on it. Just not going to be the guy to start the season with Colorado, and that's fine. That's a guy who, realistically, and again, never anything against the players. I hope they all succeed every day of the week, and I hope the Avalanche succeed every day of the week. But if you are constructing a Stanley Cup caliber lineup, that guy's probably not in it.
Schneeks is going to have a good team.
He is.
Up in Loveland.
He is.
I just talked to him yesterday. And by the way, we're going to have Coach on quite a bit, at least once a month. Schneeks, that is, to check in and give us an update there from Eagles camp. I get along great with that guy. I think he's awesome. What a hockey player he was, too. Just sidebar note there. I mean, Schneeks is going to have a good squad up in Loveland.
Yeah, they should be a quality AHL team this year. I hope they do have a decent amount of focus on development too, though. I want to see Sean Barron succeed down there.
I think they will, though. I think they will, and I think it was important to have Schneeks down as much as he was down here.
Yeah.
guiding these guys a little bit, getting a feel for it. Obviously, he and Bednar have a really good relationship. He's close with everybody. He's got that demeanor. I think guys like playing for him, obviously. So, yeah, I think it'll be a good thing up there for sure. Want to talk about Ritchie in just a minute, and we'll get to that more. But you know what they say, and this is very true for training camp and first impressions, right? You want to make a good first impression, but you also want to make a nice, long, big, lasting impression, right? And that's what Blue Chew does, and that's where they come in. Blue Chew helps boost your confidence in the bedroom so you can stay hard and perform at your very best. It's an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. This is, listen, you gotta make sure you're performing when called upon. And everybody needs a little bit of help sometimes, and that's exactly what Blue Chew's going to do. And they've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, and that promo code is ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast and keeping us in the game and engaged, because it's hard to do sometimes.
Hey, look, sometimes you're going into a preseason game with a half chub, and then a defenseman gets picked up, and you gotta get fully erect at that point.
Right.
So
you gotta get in there.
You gotta be ready to go with a good stick. Put it to you that way. Beyond that, while the players are going to the games, you should also be going to games with Game Time. What time is it? It's game time, baby. Go get Game Time today. You can download their app and use code DNVR when you sign up to get $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. They have tons of amazing ways to get seats, and it's not just sports. You can get them for the concerts. You can get them for theaters. Whatever it might be that has tickets, you can pretty much get it through Game Time. And when you use their new function, Game Time Picks, you can filter out all the fluff, all the seats you don't want, all the events you don't care about. It will sort those out for you and only show you the best deals for the best seats with Game Time. So go get with them today. Again, download Game Time and join over 15 million people that get their tickets through Game Time. Use the DNVR code to get $20 off, and Game Time guarantees you the best prices out there. If you find tickets cheaper somewhere else, Game Time will reimburse your account 110% of the ticket price. So make Game Time today.
It's a super cool app. I tried it the other day.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It works really easy to navigate.
When you're a procrastinator like me, the last minute ticket deals too, pretty good. Yeah.
Thanks for staring at me that entire time also, by the way. I appreciate that.
You got to.
Yeah.
Got to make it look good.
We should have made eye contact more. Oh, gosh. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us on a Saturday. Really loving everybody in the Toyota chat. Keep talking in there. We appreciate it. So, where do we think these moves now adjust for Cal Ritchie? Does he move back into and too, we can talk about this with the Belmar thing happening. Is he back in a center spot? I mean, I know they were talking about him needing to be a wing maybe, but is he a center again now? Is he center tonight? Does he play tonight?
I think he plays tonight.
I do too, and I think he plays at center.
The center thing is interesting because the center thing really comes down to Ross Colton more than anything else.
Sure.
I don't know how much these moves have really affected that. I think they're comfortable playing Parker Kelly or Ivan as their 4C, one of the two.
Loved Parker Kelly the other night.
Yeah, to me, Parker Kelly is of the grinders that were trying to earn jobs. He's been the best of the bunch. So with Ritchie's case, it's interesting because how do the Avs want to shelter this player is my question. If you want to put him on the wing, it might make more sense to put him on your second line, but then you're asking him to step up and play against a tougher level of competition. If you want to play him at center, you can drop him down to that third line. The competition is a little bit less harsh. On that third line, you're also talking about, hey, you can put a presence like Logan O'Connor, reliable, responsible type of player on his wing, which you can't really do if you're putting him up on the second line.
Right.
And look, I think based on the way the Avs think about this, I think Jared Bednar would really, really struggle to put Cal Ritchie and Nikolai Kovalenko on the same line.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
So one of them's going to end up on the third line or below, and one of them's going to end up on the second line, is what I expect. For my money, Nikolai Kovalenko has outplayed Cal Ritchie in this preseason, and Cal Ritchie's 19, Nikolai Kovalenko's 25. So, yeah, that's not a big surprise. But I think Kovalenko probably deserves the second line shot a little bit more than Ritchie does. And like I said, there are more responsible players that he can play with on that third line.
I will be interested to see what they do tonight, and I'm also going to be interested to see if they move it around mid-game.
That the blender is always out with Bednar,
I would think that in this game you might see the blender a little bit, just because it's your last real chance at kind of seeing sort of what manipulates. Also, it's weird they're not playing they're not playing in the Delta Center. They're going to play in the Maverick, which I believe is where the Grizzlies are at. So it's just a weird. This is just a weird day today, a weird feel, and I think that we're going to see some movement on the roster today in terms of just. Maybe Bednar doesn't commit to doesn't keep the lines the same the entire game today.
And look, the reality, I don't want to call it a specter hanging over the Avs because I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But the first portion of this season, the first 10 games that we've been calling it, maybe it's less, whatever. But they're going to do whatever works until Arturi Lehkonen gets back.
Right.
It's just going to be throw stuff together and figure it out on the fly a little bit. Lehkonen's going to return. At that point, you're going to secure your second line a little bit more, and things are going to fall in place down the lineup once he gets back. But until then, yeah, you'll probably see Ritchie play second, third, fourth lines, probably all three. Same thing's probably true of Kovalenko. You'll probably see Colton play some center. You'll probably see him play some wing. And I don't just mean tonight. I mean going into the regular season. You're probably going to see a lot of these switch-ups. I know some people have been talking about potentially dropping Miles Wood down to the fourth line.
Yep.
Maybe it's Parker Kelly that gets a chance up the lineup a little bit. You're going to see a lot, more than usual, when it comes to the shuffling of the forward lines to start this season.
Bednar has a puzzle without all the pieces, and that's
kind of
100%
true. Yeah.
Wayne. Yeah, you know what? That's Wayne in our Toyota chat. And I think that's one of the other things that we talked about a little bit in our preview article for the diehards. And if you're not a diehard, by the way, you, by all means get in on that. It's incredible the stuff that we have for you and the insight. There is no better organization covering the Colorado Avalanche than DNVR, and I'm speaking on certainty and truth on that. I've been around a lot in the hockey world, and this coverage and what you're getting and the insight, especially from AJ and Rudo and Eric, it's incredibly deep. So make sure you are diehard, because there'll be a ton of that stuff all year long. But one of the things that we did talk about there is that, yeah, it's not, you don't know, it's hard to say exactly what you're going to do, because you've just got so many question marks. There's three big question marks: Landeskog, Nichushkin, Lehkonen, not so much of a big question mark, because you know that's going to get answered here between 2 and 10 games. That's not, again, an if. It's a win. I think the big question is you're going into a gunfight with a 6-shooter, and you got 4 bullets in your chamber right now.
And I don't think this is going to happen this year, but it wouldn't be the first time that Jared Bednar took a defensive puzzle piece and jammed it into a forward spot into the lineup.
Sure, somebody suggested that. Maybe Brandstrom plays a wing.
I hope they don't do that, but they have definitely done that multiple times over the last couple of seasons, when that's more of an injury thing than to start that way. But
I think it's improvise,
hey, look,
overcome, adapt.
Yeah. It is a little bit of that. It is a little bit of survival to start the season for Colorado. And look, sometimes you put the wrong caliber of bullet in the gun and it still fires anyway.
Sure.
So sometimes it works. Sometimes you could have a little bit of a backfire there. There are some people, AJ cough, who are expecting the Avs to struggle at the start of this year. I think they'll be okay, but there is definitely... the moves that have been made have not answered a whole lot of questions over the last week or so.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
Today got confusing. Got confusing. Obviously, I think there's multiple scenarios to what they're trying to do with it. We'll see what happens as a result of it. I think the next 24 hours is going to be really interesting. Yep. And I think tomorrow could be I mean, there could be some massive things happen late tonight, tomorrow.
Well, the Avs NHL roster, 23-man roster, needs to be locked in tomorrow.
Yep.
And the thing you're looking at right now, this second, they're at 23 players, including Ludwig. So if they could do nothing and lock in their roster,
Right.
the only thing you should really be looking for tomorrow, do they waive a defenseman? If yes, I have some questions about who and why. If no, I have some questions about what does their lineup look like. So either way, there's going to be paths to go down for Colorado. And it's interesting that we're so late into this process and there's still so little clarity. Not just for the defense, but as we were just talking about, we don't have a clear picture of the forward lines beyond the first one. I know that everyone loves that third line of Colton, Wood, and LOC, but it's starting to look more and more like the Avs might be forced to break that line up. So with the first game that counts 4 days away, Avs still have work to do.
Yeah, and I think, tomorrow, obviously, deadline anyway, tomorrow is telling, but tonight after the game could be interesting as well. We could see some things happen tonight.
And they may make decisions quickly. Yeah,
very quickly, or they may have already made decisions, and then they're just going to wait till the end of the game, and it's a rubber stamp.
Definitely a fair point.
We'll make sure. You guys are obviously following all of our socials. Make sure you continue to do that. Follow each of us as well, and we'll keep you updated as we know, as quickly as we know.
Everybody go follow Giz. He's our guy in the arena this year. So.
Yeah, I got you. I'll have it all for you as it plays out. So definitely jump on that. I love interacting too, by all means. Most of my app stuff will be on Twitter. My Instagram will have a little bit here and there, but my Instagram is more like if you need some positivity, baby, I'm your guy. And a lot of golf. I like golf. Big golf fan. Let's talk. Let's switch gears a little bit here, unless something breaks as we're feverishly checking. But let's talk a little bit about the Global Series. I like the Global Series. I think the guys like the Global Series. I think it's important for the reach. I think it's a fun trip overseas to start the year. They seem to enjoy it for the most part. But before we talk about this year's, just your thoughts in general on the Global, and that smirk tells me what you're about to say. So.
Look, I like the concept of the Global Series.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea in theory, but what does it do to the teams that are not forced, but the teams that do play in it, right? You're now talking about New Jersey and Buffalo, who get this really weird start to their season, where they have to start the year on a back-to-back after a super long travel, in Czechia, and then they get a week off, and then they kind of have to restart their season.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, the Avs did it in Finland, and they talked about, the jet lag messed us up for weeks.
Sure.
After, so you're seriously affecting portions of a team's season when you go and do these things.
Yeah,
and I understand. The ultimate goal of the NHL, it's a business, it's a product. You're trying to grow the game. And Europe is a hotbed market right now for the NHL. They should be doing probably even more to grow the game in Europe than they already are. But I do wonder, at what point do you start hampering the quality of your product when you're talking about going through all these hoops? Teams starting their season 5 days early, teams getting a shorter preseason, teams having to bounce back from overseas travel, the limitations of the world that we live in. If we had teleporters, awesome. They should be playing games in Europe every week. But we have to fly for 8 hours to get over there. So I do wonder. I don't think it's to that point yet. What is the Global Series so far? Suck it up. You're a professional athlete. You can make it work.
Yeah, and I think it's also just the only thing that's a little bit weird is that the NHL season, like the regular season, is underway already for Buffalo and New Jersey, but the rest are like still like you play the regular season game today, but the rest are preseason
games.
Right,
the regular season game is played, and 8 teams are playing preseason games later tonight, and it's like this is weird.
Right.
I did want to ask you this question, though, and I don't know that there's a right answer, but when does the regular season start for the Colorado Avalanche? Because, look, the NHL regular season has started, as we just said.
Yeah.
But the Avs are about to play a preseason game.
Yeah.
Does the regular season start tomorrow. I guess they're off tomorrow, but Monday when they practice.
I'd say it's tomorrow.
Okay, so the regular season starts before puck drop of game 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because guys are in their routines at that point. Guys
Yeah,
are in their
that's fair.
mentality. Guys are, they're falling into the groove with kids and family and eating and sleeping. If they maybe were a little bit looser in quote unquote preseason, now it's time to sort of buckle in and get their mind right. So yeah, I think as soon as that last game is done in preseason,
That's
it's
when
pretty
it
much
begins?
it's go time. Yeah,
All right.
give it a go. I know enough guys who kind of buckle in even like now.
Sure.
A couple of my friends that play out in the West Coast, they have their last preseason game, and they're like, I was like, and he's like, go time now.
Yeah.
So, and that's it, and they know, and it's just it's for the guys that just turn the page and be like, okay, gotta play hockey now.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. This NHL is so staggered with their start of the season compared to a lot of other leagues
wild.
that it gets a little bit weird. I don't know when to really call it regular season, but
Yeah.
just a thought I had.
Yeah, I think it's like tomorrow for these guys.
Yep.
Hey, listen, you all, obviously, if you've been following along for a long time, you know all the cool stuff that DNVR does and their events and their interaction. That's just a big part of it, right? And we want you to be a part of that too. All of the beats have it, but you got to join the Avalanche for 3 different DNVR Av takeovers this season. 3 different games to choose from. November 15th against the Washington Capitals. Ovi comes to town. January 4th, the Canadians, and February 28th, the Wild. We got pregame hangouts at the DNVR bar, and then a party bus to and from Ball Arena. You get a game ticket. Bus tickets only are available also if you happen to have a ticket, so you can still come here and party with us. It's close enough that I'm going to try to hang out a little bit pregame before I head to Ball Arena to do my job. But the DNVR bar, if you haven't been here, this place is incredible. Like, we're going to finish here in the next 15 minutes, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to sit there and hang out, and we're going to watch football, and Rudo and I are going to catch up and just chill. Come by.
I'm getting a grilled cheese. So.
Oh, I know. I'm getting a grilled cheese today, too, by the way. You get it every time. And
I know.
I'm like, that looks so good, and I'm craving it, so grilled cheese is on my agenda today, too. But yeah, I mean, come hang out. It's cool. I love, my favorite thing about doing this job is interacting with you all and getting to talk and chill and hang out. So please come, please do it. Follow us on social at DNVR Sports, or go to thednvr.com/events to check out our calendar so that you know exactly what's going on all the time.
I will say, you got to get tickets to the November 15th takeover.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear it, but that genuinely may be the last time the greatest goal scorer to ever live comes to Colorado.
Agreed.
I know some people say, oh, Gretzky. No. Ovi's a better goal scorer than Wayne Gretzky ever was.
Agreed. I would say you're absolutely right, because he's going to hit that number this year, and I doubt that he'll call it a career very shortly.
He's going to get to 894, and he's done.
Yep. And
So-
you know what I bet you can do if you come and hang out with us at these
What's that?
at the DNVR bar?
What can you do?
You could probably indulge in a tasty beverage of some variety.
Is that so?
Well,
There might even be a beverage named the Avalanche
Come on.
that list. Get
Lies.
yourself some Breckenridge Brewery, whether it's here at the DNVR bar or wherever you might be. You can find Breck Brew at your local liquor store with the Breck Beer Locator online at breckbrew.com. You can also check out their amazing merch. They have dozens of flavors of beer, so they have something for everyone, ranging from IPAs, Kolsch's, classic ambers. I'm running out of beer names that I can't remember. Heffenwessen. I forget other beer names. Sorry, I tried my best, Breck Brew.
you did good.
I'm a simple beer man. You give me my Avalanche, maybe a fancy little Palisade Peach or something when I'm
I do
feeling
like
spicy.
Palisade Peach.
So, good choices from Breckenridge Brewery, whatever it might be. Again, breckbrew.com to find it anywhere in the United States.
All right, last little bit here of a Saturday edition, talking about the Global Series.
Yep.
Obviously, huge day ahead tomorrow when rosters lock. I think the official time is
5 Eastern,
5,
probably. Yeah, I don't know for sure. but-
Eastern, I'll have to check on that. It's tomorrow.
Yep.
The Global Series, I'll tell you what, our pre-predictions kind of close. to being good. Buffalo did not look great. They got beat 4-1, 3-1.
It was bad.
The New Jersey Devils
Looked pretty good.
do look good. Jack Hughes looks like he's ready to go. Nico Hischier looks ready to go. They did not miss the absence of Luke Hughes in those early games. And he'll be back shortly. So very, very telling in terms of what we think was going to happen out on the East Coast. And those Devils look dangerous.
My guy Paul Cotter, 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
And so if the Avs want to pick up a defenseman to make a move for Paul Cotter, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Don't think New Jersey's going to say yes, but
So, I mean, I like Jersey right now. I mean, that's a good looking hockey team.
look off to a good start for them. Like I said, they get to go back, reset a little bit, get kind of 4 or 5 days off, maybe a week off now to come back to the States. They've set themselves up for an easy month of October.
Yeah, and they're on a plane. They're on a plane right now. So, Mark's not wrong. Sabres play the Kings and then the Panthers.
Could be
0-4 start to the year.
Sabres are the definition of the phrase of you can't make the playoffs in October, but you can certainly miss the playoffs in October.
Oh, man.
Could be
Yikes.
tough. Could be tough.
We did talk about the waiver claim already yet. We talked about it for quite a bit of time off the top and then right back in. So if you want to go back and check that out, we kind of dove into it a little bit. A little bit more questions, unfortunately, than answers right now in regards to that addition. And I think the next 6 hours will tell us a little bit more about what's going on. But just as a quick recap, he will not be playing tonight, coming to Denver, not going to Utah. They will fly home this evening, and I imagine they'll have the day off tomorrow, catch up with him on Monday, most likely.
But getting back to the Global Series, I think it'll be interesting to see where the NHL goes next. Because they've checked a lot of the boxes of the hockey powerhouse countries, right? They've done Sweden, they've done Finland, they just finished up in Czechia this year. Where should they go next? Are we talking about like a France? You have at least a couple players out of there. Obviously, beyond Czechia, you could go to Slovakia and in that area. You could probably do some in Switzerland.
It'd be fun to go to. It'd be fun to go to. It'd be fun to go to like a gorgeous place like Slovenia.
Yeah.
A little nod to Kopitar.
Yeah.
He's the only, one of 2 NHL players from there. Him, obviously, more of stature and substance than anybody else, but it's a gorgeous place. I've spent many summers there with him in this town called Bled. He actually runs a hockey camp there every year. It'd be cool. It's a hockey crazy country. That'd be fun.
There you go.
Easy to get to. You can kind of get all over the place, so people can come from all over the place. Croatia's 45 minutes away. Venice, Italy's 45 minutes away.
Italy hosted the Olympics in 2026.
Yeah. So that could be cool. That could be cool. Mexico City, obviously there's a lot of rumors about an expansion team potentially going to Mexico City. Maybe you do a game in Mexico City. I think they're going to get very creative with it. That's one thing that Gary Bettman is good at. He is good at getting creative with trying to help grow the game globally. And listen, you saw the fans; they were going crazy for the Devils and the Sabres. It's awesome. Jack Hughes was engaged; he was smiling, loving it, having fun. Be cool.
Yeah, DJ, you would want a game in Denmark. Easy travel for you there. To not have to leave your country for once.
Denmark. I love Denmark.
I
love Norway, too.
Great suggestions from the Toyota Chat. Norway, Germany, lots of good options there.
No.
It was Czechia this year.
Yeah, go to Greenland. Go to Iceland. Go do something off the wall.
The NFL did Brazil this year.
Sure, exactly. Go to a crazy market.
Don't know how many rinks are in Brazil, to be fair. But.
I mean, you might have to get creative, but the NHL's so good at that anyway. I mean, I was at the Stadium Series event in Los Angeles, and a 74-degree day, and there were jokes around both teams that ice was better than the ice at Staples Center. So,
got him.
I mean, I don't know. You can probably, with as innovative as the NHL is, you could probably go just about anywhere and get people insatiated with the game of hockey, and I think it's smart.
So I guess my question is, and getting into the business side a little bit of it is, can teams convince to be playing more, maybe not even global series game, but more neutral site games. In a league like the NHL that's so gate driven, the teams are so on the dollars when it comes to selling tickets to their home games, when teams are giving up home games, can the NHL be convinced to do more interesting things? This preseason, for years we've had Kraft Hockeyville, but this game the Avs are playing tonight are at a neutral site technically, even if it is in Utah. Is there a better job to bring live hockey to wider audiences, not just in Europe, but everywhere?
I like the Kraft Hockeyville stuff. I love the Stadium Series. I love the Globals. I think that if you're going to do that, it's a give-back move that also grows the game, and it needs to be charity-based, a little bit like Kraft Hockeyville is.
I agree.
I mean, that benefits those communities exponentially. They get a done-up rink and money and gear, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, listen, playing hockey, it is expensive.
Yep.
I mean, God bless my mom and dad for, you don't realize it when you're a young kid. You look back on it now when I'm an adult and I have my own bills, and I don't even have any kids that I'm taking care of, and the world that we live in, it's crazy right now. So to put your kids through hockey, oof. I mean, and me and my brother both played at the same time. I mean, some of my fondest memories were the early morning car rides in the middle of winter in Michigan down back roads to freezing cold rinks with my mom belting out 80s music, The same with my pops, So Guy and Kate, you guys are saints. I love you. But oh my smokes, it was expensive. I mean, and now you got hockey sticks at $500 and whatnot, and skates are outrageous. I mean, I haven't paid for hockey gear in years. God bless you. Thank you, Bauer. But back in the day, it's outrageous. I don't know how they do it. So the more charity stuff that they could do, I love that.
This was probably a 10-year-old statistic now, so it's way more than it would have been back then. But there was a line going around 10 years ago that to raise a kid playing hockey from mites or whenever they start to the NHL, on average, costs about $250,000.
Agreed. If you're playing AAA ice hockey, so the highest level that you can play as a youth. So most kids start playing AAA hockey, 10's a little early, call it 12, right? Call it squirts, peewees-ish. I mean, if you're playing AAA hockey for a premier organization in your city, in Detroit, I played for CompuWare, or there's a Honey Baked, or Little Caesars. Out here, it's the Thunderbirds, or the Rampage, or
the Grit up in Greeley.
Okanagan. You're talking about 20. I mean, with travel and gear and ice time and fees and tournaments and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you're talking about $25,000, almost $30,000.
Yep, it's a lot of money
to play hockey, but got to give it a go. I mean, listen, there's other sports that are similarly expensive. I talk a lot about my nephew, and he is the best golfer for his age in the state of Colorado, and even that travel is expensive. So. Yep. It costs a lot of money. So I think if the NHL is going to do something and expand and grow the game, I think exposure is one area, but I think more teams and more players, and a lot on the Avalanche do it, more grassroots in terms of let's go play a game in a crazy city, and then let's make sure every single youth hockey player in that city is walking away with a bag full of gear.
The barrier of entry to hockey is just so high to play.
Yeah.
Because, you can play ball hockey with a stick and a ball, but it's not really the same. Because even roller hockey, you need rollerblades, you need pads, you need sticks, you need helmets. Comparing that to basketball, which you need a ball and a court, and that's it.
Right.
And you're playing basketball.
Right. And free courts everywhere.
Yeah, right. NHL, they've certainly... Ice is unbelievably expensive in this country.
It's outrageous these days.
The NHL needs to do a better job of providing those things and allowing kids and families and people to experience the sport for themselves at an affordable rate.
Yeah. Yep. So if they're going to do more of those types of games, that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see it. And they do a ton of charity. The NHL is so good about giving gear away, and so many or equipment companies have learn to skate programs. Bauer, CCM, the two big ones. Literally, if you're under 5 years old, you get a bag of gear. Like, you get everything you need to start playing hockey. Obviously, you grow out of that very quickly, and they know that, but it's cool. Hockey's it's a great game. It's a huge family. But if there's any kids out there who are watching, go give your mom and dad a big, big hug right now, because I promise you, it's costing a lot of money to put you on the ice, no matter what level you are. Thank them, tell them you love them, and give them a big hug, and work hard.
Yeah, the NHL just has an onus to provide more of that, I think, than other leagues because of the realities of their sport. Yeah. And things like the Global Series are good entryways into doing that. Things like neutral site games and Stadium Series are a good entryway into doing that. And look, I think the NHL is trending up in a more positive way than they have been for a good long while when it comes to the growth of the game. So I'm looking forward to what comes next for the league.
All right, that's it. That went on a little rant there, but I appreciate you listening to me. I'm pretty passionate about hockey and thankful for the game and everything it's given me. My gosh, I don't know where I would be without the sport of hockey. It's given me my friends and my family and new friends and new family. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. Thanks, Mom and Dad. All right, that's it for us. Hockey game at 5 o'clock tonight in Utah. Can't see it on TV. Catch it on the radio. Friend of the show, friend of ours, Connor McGahey, always with a great call. So give him a listen. I think it's 92.5.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. Sorry, Connor, if I'm getting that wrong. You guys are smart. You'll find it. Altitude Radio. Check out CMAC, Connor McGahey. And, we're going to say goodbye for now. We'll keep you updated with the news. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're a diehard. If you're not, make sure you sign up for that. And then follow us on social. We'll keep you up to date as things kind of play out over the rest of it here. That's going to do it for us. Hey, have a great rest of your day and your weekend. Do something for somebody. Make somebody's life better, whether it's somebody you know or just a random stranger. Do that today. Do it tomorrow. We'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.